Good morning, everyone. My name's Amy Briley. I head up revenue here at Babelquest. This is my colleague Chris Grant, one of our
HubSpot nerds.
HubSpot nerds. Yes, well, should we go with that? Thank you all for joining us. We're still going through lots of post inbound updates, so today's session is another roundup of the ones we felt we would highlight today. Let me just share my screen.
Do put it in the chat pane if you've already started using any of the new inbound stuff. We'd love to hear about it.
Absolutely. There you go, quick preview of the first one. Cool. Maybe we'll give another 30 seconds or so and we'll start. Our challenge, as always, in these half-an-hour slots is getting through all the content.
Prepare the fire hose and we'll just open it
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
Be good.
Right, should we go? Let's do it. Let's jump in. So the first one is one I'm very excited about. It's the HubSpot connector for ChatGPT. So I'm going to just do a quick example here, but HubSpot has expanded the connector for ChatGPT. So now it's as good as answering quick kind of everyday questions as it is at deep research and analysis. They first rolled it out for the deep research, but now that functionality has been expanded. So you can go for questions maybe as simple as, how many tickets, high priority tickets were created last week in HubSpot, to much more complex queries for maybe asking it to analyze seasonal patterns. Again, let's stick with tickets in ticket volume for the upcoming quarter or something like that. So to give you an example, I've got my ChatGPT open here. I've already connected HubSpot. So when you go to the plus sign here, you can click Use Connectors like this, and then I can just say, I'm going to connect HubSpot. And I pre-prepared a couple of little queries, so you don't have to watch me painfully type. So here I'm just asking ChatGPT to look at our HubSpot test account and segment customers by size, industry, etc. Let's see what it says. So you can see it's come back with very, very quickly a kind of thing here. I'm going to try another one. There we go. So again, very quick examples. I've also got a couple of sales ones that you could use, create 3 email follow-up sequences for prospects, identify 3 sales stages where, deals spend most time, etc. But these types of queries are really good now in ChatGPT. In the presentation here, I've also just included a couple of top tips. Just from playing around with this, I would definitely make sure you include the term HubSpot in your prompts. This will just help improve sort of accuracy. And also, if you haven't already gone through the stages where I said click the class, click the connector, and then switching on HubSpot, it will automatically trigger the connector if you include HubSpot in that query. I think the key thing, and we've talked about this in a couple of events we've had post inbound, haven't we, Chris? It's about keeping your HubSpot data clean. Like, we can only do these queries if it's on a basis of a good structure of data and good clean data. So there are some actions you could do to make sure you get your data clean enough to be able to use this functionality. One of those options is looking at the data quality command center. Or you can tell you can always get in touch with us and we can help. I'm going to ask Chris to put a couple of links into the chat right now. One of them is to the Data Quality Command Center as well, but the other one is HubSpot's put together a prompt library to give you some ideas of the types of prompts you could use. So he's also going to put a link in for that. And then there's a little bit more about the ChatGPT integration as well, and a third link that he's going to drop in there. Thank you, Chris. But my last sort of top tip is to just make sure you add context based on how you are using HubSpot as well. If you're using a custom property, help the LLM to understand that, or if you want to refer to a specific object type, etc. And that means that responses are going to be more tailored, actionable, and also what you want as well. So I think this is a really sort of exciting update. The next one is be able to quick fill an index page with index page view with smart properties. So here, again, if I exit, I can just come here. So I'm just on the companies page, and I'm going to create a new property. And to do straight from here is just clicking these three little icons. Hang on a second. Am I in the right one? Apologies, everyone. One second.
Never work with children, animals,
yeah,
or live software demos.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
I think let me do that one again. So I'm going to go on the three buttons. The new, my only apologies. I'm still getting used to the new navigation. So what I'm going to do is click add column, and then I'm going to create new here. So by default shows add existing, and I'm going to create a new property directly from here. Again, from preparing, I'm just going to copy this so you don't have to watch me type. And I'm just going to ask HubSpot to create a new property on the company level, which shows the top 3 competitors to the company selected. I'm asking it to focus on company size, geographic region, and industries sector to research those competitors. So I'm just going to click generate property. It's then going to help me by refining my instructions. So it's suggested, as you can see, the property name should be called top competitors. It's chosen the field type for me as well. There are no rules, and this is the prompt for the data agent here. Now you can see I can edit any of these if it's not correct, if I wanted to change, this to a different property type, etc. But you can see how quick it is just to do it from this, and I think this is really cool. So then create property. You can see it's going to take a little while, but it'll fill out this for me, and it's done, in a matter of seconds rather than having to go to settings, etc., as we did before. So yeah,
lock down your permissions so that everybody can't do that, because my goodness, the chaos that could ensue from everybody creating properties like that.
Absolutely. The next one, moving swiftly on, is the customizable search results display. So here we're just referring to the search global search box at the top. And here in the little settings icon, you can choose what properties display in the results. So not only the properties, which you can select up to 6, but also the order of them. So in fact, if I wanted to drag and drop, just like elsewhere in a HubSpot job title, to maybe come here rather than at the end, I can do that. And then if I click save going forward, in the search results, I'll always see these properties as well, which I think is useful and will hopefully help people use this search bar rather than going to the specific object, etc. Again, just surfacing that information to you quickly. adding external social posts to your campaign. So here, if I want to add an external social post, so I'm just going to click add here. I am then going to scroll down and select this, and this is a new piece of functionality, social post from external resource. I can then click add content. When I select it, it will show me then the social posts from the external sources I can select. So again, a nice piece of functionality for the marketers there to be able to do that directly from there. Account cleanup. So this is now being rebanded from account insights. So if I come to here, so this is just found within the settings, and then you can see the beta account cleanup here. There's a couple of things you can do. First of all, just turn on automations, which will give you monthly notifications. And if I switch these on, it will say, right, there are X number of emails that you want.
Got to be brave here, haven't you? Got to be brave. Dare I turn it on?
Again, this is our test portal, so I don't want to be spammed by HubSpot about all these things going on in a test portal. So I'm not going to turn it on just now, but you get the idea. You can do the same kind of thing for lists, etc. Here, but also you can do it manually as well. So if you just come over to the manual option, it gives you almost prompts to help you look at specific things. So top one here, review workflows that are not being used. It'll take you directly to there and flag up workflows that you might want to review, delete, to declutter your portal as well. So I think this is a nice functionality and perhaps a sign of more things to come here as well. What are we on to next? Global number porting. I'm not going to do a demo of this, but essentially, yeah, it's a bit dull. You can see by Chris's face there as well.
I'm all about number porting. We should be porting numbers left, right, and centre.
It's just the process of transferring a phone number from one carrier to another. And essentially, with this update, HubSpot's expanding the capability to port numbers globally to a number of countries, which for our audience includes the UK and many European countries as well. So I think helpful if you're using this functionality. Being able to create and view notes in the help desk. Let me just make this into slideshow again. Support teams are now able to view, create, and edit notes in help desks, which will replace comments as the primary means for sort of internal collaboration within the help desk. Notes are already the building blocks which help with collaboration across the rest of the HubSpot platform. We certainly use them here at BabelQuest to leave notes on, say, company records or contact records, and they can now available within Help Desk as well, which I think just helps with consistency across the whole platform too. Okay, another demo. So being able to remix Google Drive files. So I can get rid of this one and contact remix. So here I'm within the remix tool. I'm going to add a source, come from here, and then you can see this option to start from a Google file drive here, and then you can just open the document picker and select your content. I did a quick example of this and created a document just about remixing your content from Google Drive and how it's such a game changer for HubSpot marketers as an example. But you can see how quick it is just to add that rather than having to upload things, etc. So a nice update for the marketers there. Where are we up to? getting through these in good time, I think. Multiple conditions for roll-up properties. So I'll get rid of this one. Here, I've just created a new contact property. I was not feeling very inspired, so I've just called it test product update multiple conditions. So I've just started to do that there. I've selected my field type as roll up, set my associations, etc. But you can see down here, we can add conditions, but now you will be able to add multiple conditions for this. And that just essentially allows you to build smarter, more targeted calculations without having to rely on often very complex workarounds or additional workflows, etc. So being able to do that here is huge, and I know a number of our customers will be able to make use of this as well.
The power that this unlocks is huge. It's people don't, we could do a whole session on roll-up properties, but objects that are associated, calculating things, there's so much potential with this.
Yeah, and just adding filters, so only do the calculation if this and this apply, that kind of thing. Although it sounds very simplistic, it's a very powerful piece of functionality. So I think, yeah, as Chris said, the impact can't be overstated of this one. Here we go. Average NPS rating and customer satisfaction scorecards. So these are some new scorecards you can add on a contact and company record, just to be able to surface this information at that level. So again, just a really nice, helpful piece of updates. And I think this might be my final one, is it, Chris? Help desk views, customization, experience and improvement. Yes, does what it says on the tin, allows you to customize within the help desk your views, etc. So another nice update for the service side of things. Chris, I'm going to stop there and hand over to you.
And over we have, right, let's go.
I'm also just going to check the chat because I ran through that pretty quickly. So I will answer questions as Chris is going along as well.
We are, yeah, we're in full-on Firehose territory. Everyone can see my screen, hopefully, before I start talking. So that's Amy's last slide. 10 minutes, 10 updates. We're going to go fast. But the first thing we're going to talk about, and this is something to probably experiment with, is the data model builder. And you can get to it by going data management and data model. If you haven't been in here, this is another really powerful section of HubSpot. Really excitingly, you can start to get AI to help with your data model. It's worth kind of going through, playing with some of this and seeing what you can do here, customization, etc. But data model recommendations, quite powerful. You can also get it to, for example, I was and I won't do it now in terms of time, but you can actually define what you think might be an object and get Breeze to suggest properties that you might want to build against that object, which is pretty powerful. You can also then go in and actually start to look at your data model. And if you're, I suppose it depends what on your perspective and what you're looking at, how you're looking at things, but the ability to do a lot of these things is immense. So for example, if you've moved up from Salesforce and your sales team's a team of witching, then we could call deals accounts or whatever we want to call them. So there's a huge amount of power in this screen. You've got access to Breeze, to the AI, which knows all about HubSpot and how it fits together. The only thing I'd probably say is just make sure you lock it down, because otherwise you'll have excited sales reps building custom objects left, right, and center, and that could get a little bit messy. Okay, so We then have generate calculated property formulas with AI, and this is very much the AI is there to help. I had tried this when it was in original beta, and it's there. It gives you a basis, but all we're doing is, let's say and it'd be typically calculated properties I would build at deal level. It immediately it's defaulting to give me the ability to create a property with the AI. I'm old school. But in this case, let's say I want to create a calculation. You'll see I've now got this generate formula, and it gives you some examples. I was playing around with trying to get it to calculate the speed of light based on various things. Didn't quite work out for me, but I think it's giving you a helpful starting point, and you can kind of start to learn how it works. But it's giving you some examples. It's worth going in and playing around with some of your AI prompts because it's going to just suggest the calculation and give you the opportunity to check it. So if your maths isn't great or you need a bit of help, then this is really useful. Okay, this is more of an informational one. This is dashboard limits update. HubSpot have upped the limit on a dashboard from 30 reports to 50 reports. They've also updated the amount of dashboards you can have. We can send something out after this. I can't remember all of the precise numbers. The one thing I would say is, from my personal point of view, you never put 50 reports on a dashboard because
I
it's
was
just
going to say.
creating it's create I would cut it down and make you have a maximum of 20 reports, because all you're going to do is create this horrendous nightmare of data that nobody can do anything with. So if I can give some advice, data, insight, action. If you can't do anything with the report on the dashboard, don't put the report on the dashboard. But for those of you that want 50 reports on a dashboard, you can now do it. And please never ever share it with me because I don't want to see it. Um, that's horrible, isn't it? Click to call from the index page. So this is HubSpot index page. I know that some people probably don't like the new color scheme. It's a grower.
Yeah, I'm with you on
You'll,
that.
I hated it, and then I tolerated it, and now I love it. But this, you'll see I've got a phone number column here. This is our test portal, so the data's a bit crappy, but numbers that are correctly formatted, I can click and I can call directly from the index page. And this is part of a huge update to HubSpot's calling capabilities. So watch this space for things like the power dialer, which is coming soon.
Yeah.
You may actually replace some of the antiquated calling tools that are out there. So here your team can make a list, so you can use filters to make yourself a call list, and that's really, really nice. Social metrics in the customer report builder. Let's just get rid of some of these. More data is useful. The more we can see, the more we can do, the more insights we get. We can now see social data in the customer report builder, and I've actually used here social post as my primary data source in the customer report builder. And you'll
This is
see, oh, go
huge.
for
Sorry to interrupt. This is so big, Chris, because
it.
like the reporting from the social side of things, you've been really limited up until now, and this has been a request, certainly in the community, for 4 years, and maybe more. And the ability to have this in the custom reporting is massive, because as you're demonstrating, you can
Look at the
pull,
depth.
yeah, pull all these properties which you simply couldn't do before.
I've never found a channel that has dislikes on it, but I feel like they should be everywhere. Angry reactions, depth,
Um,
depth, and this is going to get better. We've added it now. We can cross-reference it, and we can start to report. And I think for marketers, this is
and
huge.
then you can create 50 reports to add to a dashboard all about social now.
No, no, no. On the subject of stopping people creating things, you now have, and we use Paul Callum as an example. We've now got greater workflow permissions. So in our, and this, if you're not familiarizing yourself all the time with what's in permissions, look at it once a month at least, because it
Yeah,
changes.
and it's really detailed these days. So again, can become quite complicated based on your team setup and that kind of thing. So we're here. Ask us if you need any advice. I think it's one of those things, as you were saying, Chris, that gets updated frequently. Often you don't know these things are added as betas come out, etc. The permissions are changing. So yeah, it is well worth reviewing this in a more strategic way, on a fairly regular basis.
And they keep us here at weekends to learn all about this, so you guys don't have to. Yeah, workflows. Look, you've now got this enroll in workflow permission, so we could allow people to view workflows, edit, or we could say that they're actually allowed to enroll. And there's also the new cards you can add to contacts and records, where you can create a workflow trigger that someone can click. So this enroll permission is well worth being aware of. What else do we have? We have an internal FAQ assistant. This is really powerful. If you haven't investigated assistants, I think we'll probably do a whole session on this, but you'll see I've been playing around with assistants here, and I've got my internal FAQ assistant. It's actually trained on our internal company culture guide, so employees can they can ask it questions. How much holiday do I get? And Amy was far more sensible having it pre-typed. But this is actually going to query, well, aren't you lucky you get a decent chunk of holiday, etc. Worth also mentioning that I made this assistant angry, and it doesn't like to help, but it has to. So you can give your assistants a personality.
Yeah, I came into
And
the office this morning and Chris was chortling away, highly amused by making a really grumpy agent.
you see here, you are an unfriendly AI assistant that begrudgingly helps users answer questions about their uploaded documents. Joking aside, there's a lot of power in these assistants for your team, and it's a really nice thing to have. We have a few more to go. Cross-channel activation comparison and insights for your segments. Sometimes the names of these updates
Yeah.
are bewildering, but what this means is that you can compare segments. And one of the team this morning was saying how somebody she'd worked with has been trying to prove to their board that marketing to a particular audience is a complete waste of time, whereas marketing to another segment of their audience is really good. And now she's got the power to prove it by choosing segments to compare. And we can actually see the 7-day impact of marketing to that segment. So again, more data, and you can do great things with these segments. Segments, if you haven't heard, are what lists are called now. So you can start to compare your segments. So it's well worth getting into this, especially from a marketing perspective, so that you can start to test one segment versus another, what works for one segment, what works for another segment, and you can get really, really slick with what you're doing. And you can put it in the report builder, and have 50 of them. Apps tab on a redesign data integration. This is literally just in data management. You've now got data integration, and you've now got your app syncs, so you can tell what's happening with your app syncs, work out what's going on. Again, not huge, but really nice to, especially for your IT teams, to be able to monitor what's going on. Sales meeting note taker. Again, I think there's probably an entire session on this, but this is the next three that we're going to talk about. But you've got a note taker that can come to your meetings, much like a Fathom or a Zoom or whatever else. But this one is
or in-person meetings as well.
yeah, you can put it on your phone, press record on your desk. And this is part of the big meetings update. So this is a meeting. So I get info and insights before my meeting. So I can see all sorts of notes, what's going on. I can see who's going to the meeting. I can see recent activity. I can also see things like web page visits from people in the meeting. And then in this case, I don't have a recording and transcript, but here's a meeting that nobody came to apart from some note takers. But you'll see also we get next steps, which we can then do. We've got a catch-up summary that we can drop into a follow-up email. We can ask a question. We've got the video. We've got the transcript. I think this is absolute dynamite. And the really amazing thing is that the data from here can feed into your deal score. So sentiment analysis based on the conversations that your team are having with their clients, prospects, will actually tell you whether those deals are likely to close. And I love that. So that's meeting prep. And final one is it's not there, customizable ticket properties in the customer portal. So if you've got an enterprise portal and you're using customer properties, using tickets, and so that they can access, we can actually customize the properties that they can see, that they can access, and they can use in the customer portal. That might be something for another time, because we are out of time.
Wow, well done. That was another whistle stop through. It gets harder and harder, doesn't it? But thank you everybody once again for attending. As I mentioned at the start, we've had quite a few of these. We're running quite a few events post inbound to go more in depth into these updates, because there are a lot of them. And one of the next events we have is actually taking place tomorrow. It's the adoption hug that we run, and our very own Tanya and Hannah are on that one. So Tanya is going to drop the link for that one into the chat, as well as a number of upcoming events we've got exploring some of these updates in more detail. We're just scratching the surface here, and as Chris mentioned, some of these really require a dedicated in-depth session. So you of course are all very welcome to join us in those.
And if you feel bewildered by all of these updates, then you can watch us looking bewildered live about where we recorded at Inbound on the final day. We just sort of sat there and tried to rapidly digest loop marketing, all of the new stuff. You can see us being slightly overexcited by what's dropped recently.
Brilliant. All right. Thank you all very much.